Hi, Les Raymond here with the Mindful Movement. Thanks for joining me today. I recently said I was finishing up these mindful tips, but with what's going on in the world right now, I just feel compelled to do whatever I can and whatever I have to offer to help others. So this is a personal favorite practice of mine. For probably thousands of years, people have been using sound as medicine. Remember, medicine is whatever helps you live. So, most commonly this is probably seen in the form of singing or playing music. Sound is a very powerful tool, and we all walk around with this tool kind of built in. Now, there might be some exceptions to that, but generally speaking, we all can produce sound if we want. So everything on some level is an energy, and sound is an energy, and it can interact with our body in ways that we might not be aware of, that aren't really on the surface. They're, unseen. And, if you look at the ancient traditions, this sound is really built in to their lifestyles. I mean, there's been chanting and singing and playing, musical instruments, where there's this relationship that's very intertwined between our bodies and this form of energy, this sound waves. A few years ago, somebody introduced to me the idea of chanting, which led me to learning about humming. And I was really surprised at first how something so simple and so easy seemed to have such a powerful effect on me. And this could be placed in our life so easily. You could be in virtually any position, doing almost any activity, and tap into this tool. And I find as my environment imposes more stresses on me, I really lean on this tool personally for my own medicine. So today I'd like to share that with you. I think in one of Sarah's meditations we've used this. I don't remember offhand which one, but I don't think we've had a separate video on just how to practice this. It's super simple. Basically, you're going to try to relax, and as you exhale, you're going to hum. And there's a couple ways to do this. I'm gonna do this, so hopefully the mic picks it up. But if you can't, just use your imagination here. So. Pretty simple. So one thing that humming does is it naturally will slow down your exhale. Now, many times in previous videos we've talked about benefits of an extended exhale and how that will stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system. Remember, that's the rest and digest, the relaxation side, that everything is safe and all the parts can resume normal function. It's like the opposite of the sympathetic, the fight, flight, freeze, stress mode. So we want to be very proficient at tapping in to our parasympathetic system, because the sympathetic exposure, there's so much of it that is pushed on us out of our control. But we do have a lot of control of how we respond to the stressful things in our life. And if you look in the animal kingdom, it's interesting to observe how animals have their own systems to kind of erase a stressful situation. A common one would be after, maybe being chased by a tiger or a lion, a gazelle, once it's safe, will kind of shake it off and just resume its normal business. It's pretty amazing. And, we can actually do that too through shaking and dancing and different techniques. But this is just another tool, another technique that is very simple to incorporate into our life. Now, if you recall from a previous video, we talked about the vagus nerve and stimulating the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is a very important nerve. It's one of the, I think it's the 10th cranial nerve. It's very long and it innervates with almost every major organ in our body. And one of the very interesting aspects of the vagus nerve is most of the communication going up and down is really going up. It's really information from our body being brought to the brain to signal to the brain what's going on in our environment and if this is a time for stress or a time for relaxation. So we could use that as a tool. And one thing that humming does is it creates this relaxation in the body, the sense that's sent up through the vagus nerve. So the brain gets this sense of safety, of calmness. And it won't take long for you to feel the effects of that. So one, we have the stimulation of the vagus nerve through the actual vibration and the signaling that comes through our body, and also from the natural extension of the exhale that happens, because essentially your exhale is restricted. Not restricted in an unsafe way, it's just naturally slowed down as a result of creating sound. Now, one of the other things that I don't know if this is true, so if one of you in the community knows more about this topic, I would love to learn more about it. I learned a while back that there are some, I don't know, groups of people, I guess, that felt that when the teeth are closed, but just gently, it bridges a gap from the jaw to the skull, and the vibration of that humming transfers into the skull. I've been told that that can stimulate the pituitary gland, which is basically behind the area of between the eyes, or behind the third eye, as I've learned it. Again, if I'm not accurate on that and you're someone out there that knows more about that than me, I'm very curious and would love to understand more, so please share that with the community. But I know from my own practice that when I do that, and I don't like to do that a lot, I do feel that when my teeth are closed and trying to create that sensation, there's a little excess tension in the jaw holding that position. So I do practice it. I don't practice it every time I hum, but I practice it some. And when I do have a session of humming, which is usually for a few minutes, I might just practice that for a few of those breaths. And it's interesting to me, and I'd be very interested in what feedback you have from your practice. So again, this can be done lying down, this can be done seated, standing, walking, while you're exercising, while you're cooking dinner. Sometimes I'll find myself playing little games where if I'm using any kind of piece of electronics or something that's creating sound, or if I'm just listening to music, I'll hum and try to match the tone. Even something silly like when I'm using the coffee grinder in the morning and it makes like a buzzing sound, I have this funny habit of humming and trying to match the pitch of the coffee grinder. My family probably thinks it's funny or that I'm crazy. But I don't know, I just look for little opportunities in life to sneak in these little practices. So again, I really encourage you to try this practice. It's super simple and surprisingly just soothing. Obviously, this is a time where I think everybody could be using a little more calm and adding a little more calm to their life. And this is just very calming. Again, it's just humming, inhaling, and humming. Again, practice. Let us know what you think. If you think you know somebody that could really use this in their life right now, please share the video. I hope you have a great day. Enjoy your practice.